In Hollywood, there's an unspoken law every actor learns sooner or later. Scandals, addiction, or public ridicule can be survived, but crossing Johnny Carson was an unforgivable offense. Within the realm of The Tonight Show, Carson was not just a witty host. He was the ultimate authority of American television. A single nod from him could elevate an unknown performer to stardom overnight, while the slightest sign of disapproval could obliterate even the most celebrated career. Over decades, some stars dared to defy him, and the consequences were unforgettable. Among them were a devoted protege who betrayed him after 2 decades of loyalty, a glamorous singer with a violent streak, arrogant bullies, con artists, and even legends whose personal flaws overshadowed their fame. Number 1. Joan Rivers. Throughout Johnny Carson's 30-year dominion over late-night television, he was often regarded as the uncrowned king of the medium. Thousands of entertainers walked through his living room, yet only one woman was publicly treated as family: his chosen successor, Joan Rivers. Their connection resembled a Hollywood fairy tale. In 1965, a still unknown Joan performed on The Tonight Show, prompting Carson to wipe tears of laughter from his eyes as he declared on air, "You're going to be a star. You are terrific." That single remark altered the trajectory of her life. Johnny became not only her mentor, but also her protector, granting her the rare privilege of permanent guest host. Whenever Carson took a vacation, Joan alone was allowed to occupy his iconic chair, and the public saw her as his spiritual child. But trust in Hollywood is fragile, and betrayal can cut deeply. In 1986, fearing NBC might replace her with younger talent, Joan made a pivotal decision. She secretly signed a contract with Fox to host a show that directly competed with Carson. What offended Johnny was not her ambition, but her deceit. The irony was bitter. He, who had nurtured her from obscurity, discovered her betrayal through the press rather than from Joan herself. When she called him to explain, trembling over the phone, his reply was icy. "I heard you got your own show. Congratulations." Then came the click of the receiver. That brief conversation erased her from his life. Carson's sentence was absolute. Joan Rivers was barred from The Tonight Show permanently. Her past appearances were sealed. Her name never mentioned again. Even amid her show's struggles and her husband's tragic suicide, Johnny's coldness endured until his own death, a 19-year testament to the inviolable value he placed on loyalty. Number 2. Wayne Newton. Known as Mr. Las Vegas, Wayne Newton represented the glitz and glamour of nightclub entertainment. With his striking voice, impeccable grooming, and signature mustache, he dominated the stage, but also became a target for Carson's playful jabs. In the early 1980s, Johnny frequently mocked Newton on his monologues, hinting at his masculinity and making suggestive jokes that sent the audience into fits of laughter. Newton, a man with immense pride and a fiercely defiant nature, had tolerated this ridicule for some time. But one afternoon, after yet another televised insult, he decided to act. Driving straight to NBC's Burbank studio, bypassing security, he entered Carson's dressing room unannounced. Confronting the host, Newton grabbed Carson's lapels and growled, "Listen here, Johnny. I don't care who you are. If you tell one more joke about me, I won't sue you. I will find you, and I will beat the hell out of you right in front of everyone." Carson, taken aback, recognized the lethal seriousness in Newton's eyes and nodded. Newton straightened his jacket and walked out, leaving the room with the same cold determination with which he had entered. From that night forward, Johnny never mentioned Wayne Newton again. Silence became Newton's punishment. The doors of The Tonight Show were closed forever, depriving him of the platform that could have amplified his fame even further. Number 3. Chevy Chase. If Joan Rivers' story was a tragedy and Wayne Newton's an action drama, Chevy Chase's tale serves as a moral lesson in temperament and respect. In the mid-1970s, Chase was America's hottest comedic star, the rebellious force behind Saturday Night Live. Carson initially admired him, sensing a potential heir to his legacy. But behind Chase's charm lay arrogance and cruelty. He belittled staff, mocked assistants, and treated the NBC crew as if they existed to serve him. On air, he adopted a condescending posture, deliberately disrupting Carson's rhythm and acting as if appearing on The Tonight Show was a favor granted to the host rather than the other way around. The final straw was his cruelty toward others, mocking their failures publicly. Unlike Newton, Chase faced a quieter, subtler punishment, oblivion. Without issuing a formal ban, Carson whispered to producer Fred de Cordova, "I don't want to see this guy anymore." From that moment, The Tonight Show doors quietly closed for him. While contemporaries thrived under Johnny's mentorship, Chase's arrogance marginalized him, demonstrating to Hollywood that talent alone is never enough when character is absent. Number 4. Jim Garrison. In the turbulent late 1960s, New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison claimed to possess shocking evidence implicating conspirators in JFK's assassination. Carson, a keen observer of current events, invited Garrison to appear on The Tonight Show on January 31, 1968. However, Garrison's presentation proved disastrous. Instead of legal proof, he offered blurry photographs, vague hypotheses, and baseless accusations, using The Tonight Show as a platform to promote his books and enhance his public profile. Carson, insulted by Garrison's disrespect for his audience, swiftly assumed the role of judge on air, interrupting and dismantling Garrison's shaky arguments. Once the lights went out, Carson decreed that Garrison would never appear again, permanently banning him and reserving NBC's platform for credible, honest discourse. Number 5. Uri Geller. Geller, the Israeli psychic who claimed telepathic powers, posed a unique challenge. For Carson, a former magician who revered skill and authenticity, Geller's claims were an affront to his craft. Invited to The Tonight Show in 1973, Geller believed he would dazzle the audience, as he had worldwide. Yet Carson had anticipated deception. He secretly prepared the props, ensuring the spoons, jars, and envelopes were untouched and could not be manipulated. On air, Geller's supposed powers failed utterly. For 22 excruciating minutes, he struggled, sweat dripping, under Carson's calm scrutiny, while the audience witnessed his panic. Humiliated, Geller left NBC exposed as a fraud, a permanent blemish on his public image. Number 6. Milton Berle. Known as Mr. Television, Berle was a legendary figure from the 1950s. A meeting between him and Carson should have been a symbolic passing of the torch, but Burley's ego made it impossible. He smoked cigars, interrupted conversations, and attempted to dominate interviews, often correcting Carson on air. Each taping left Carson exhausted and frustrated. Though no official ban was issued out of respect for Burley's legendary status, Carson slowly froze him out, gradually reducing his appearances until they stopped entirely. Number 7. Raymond Burr. Audiences adored Burr as Perry Mason and Ironside, embodiments of intellect and justice. Yet, as a Tonight Show guest, his humorless and serious nature created an unbearable interview. Carson's efforts at playful conversation were met with curt, minimal responses, leaving the host struggling to fill the silence. Burr's extreme reserve and lack of engagement rendered him professionally unsuitable for The Tonight Show. Despite his talent, he was quietly removed from Carson's guest priorities. Number 8. Ryan O'Neal. In the 1970s, O'Neal was Hollywood royalty, a romantic leading man whose charm captivated fans. On The Tonight Show, however, his arrogance was immediately evident. He slouched, avoided eye contact, and treated the interview as a tedious obligation rather than an opportunity. Unlike Burr, whose silence stemmed from awkwardness, O'Neal's indifference was a direct insult to Carson's professionalism. After one taping, he was rarely invited back, serving as a cautionary example that talent cannot excuse disrespect. Number 9. Bob Hope. Though frequently appearing on The Tonight Show in the 1970s and 1980s, Hope was secretly Carson's most dreaded guest. Hope relied entirely on scripted material, ignored Carson's questions, and performed like a pre-recorded machine. Unlike other stars, he could not be refused due to his legendary status, yet he never connected with Carson on a personal level. His visits were a constant reminder of the tension between artistic integrity and the demands of celebrity. A final, ironic note in the chronicles of Carson's most challenging guests. 9 names, 9 stories, 9 enduring lessons. Joan Rivers' betrayal, Wayne Newton's aggression, Chevy Chase's arrogance. They all fell before Johnny Carson's unerring judgment. Through this catalog, Carson left Hollywood a lasting truth. Talent can elevate you, but only character and respect can keep you seated in that iconic chair. Johnny's chair was more than furniture. It was a soul scanner, unmasking pretension and deception with ruthless precision.